Hi, I'm Lisa. Every morning, walking into my classroom and seeing those bright little faces light up, that's what I live for. Money never mattered much to me, not like it does to them. Mom raised me right. She's been a second grade teacher for 30 years and taught me that real wealth isn't about designer labels or country club memberships. She taught me to value the things that truly matter. You're really something special with these kids, Linda says, watching me help Tommy with his alphabet. Linda's been my rock since I started teaching here 3 years ago. Just doing what I love. I reply, forcing a smile. I don't mention the text I just got from Stephen about another family dinner tonight. I met Stephen 2 years ago at Riverside Coffee. Back then, he was genuine, kind, and laughed at my terrible puns. A junior attorney who seemed nothing like his family's ruthless reputation. You're not what I expected from a Parker, I told him on our third date. Maybe the Parkers aren't what you expect, he said. Oh, how wrong he was. The first dinner at their mansion should have been my warning. Robert Parker, Boston's most notorious real estate mogul, sized me up like a property assessment. His wife, Margaret, wore a plastic smile to match her designer everything. And Amanda, now my sister-in-law, barely concealed her sneer. A teacher? How charitable, Margaret said, sipping her wine. We support many educational initiatives, Robert added, ever the salesman. Perhaps we could find you a more suitable position. I love my current position, actually, I replied, trying not to bristle as Stephen tensed beside me. That's when it started. The subtle digs, the backhanded compliments, the relentless pressure. At first, Stephen defended me. But slowly, I watched the man I fell in love with fade away, replaced by his father's puppet. Maybe Dad's right, he said last week. The private sector has better opportunities. Better for who, Stephen? Your father's image. Linda notices my distraction during recess. Parker family drama again. They're hosting their annual charity gala next weekend. The one where they pretend to care about underprivileged kids while treating their cleaning staff like dirt, I mutter. You don't have to go, Linda says gently. Stephen says it's non-negotiable. Dad's biggest night of the year. I mimic his corporate tone. My phone buzzes. Another text from Margaret. Darling, do try to wear something appropriate this time. The Parkers have standards to maintain. I close my eyes and hear Mom's voice. Stay true to yourself, Lisa. The right people will love you for who you are. But I can't shake the feeling that this gala will change everything. The night I'll learn what it really means to be a Parker and why I'll never be one of them. The grand ballroom sparkles with chandeliers and fake smiles. My feet ache within an hour, but there's nowhere to sit. Every chair at the family table has a gold nameplate, none bearing my name. These seats are reserved for family members who actually contribute to the Parker legacy. Robert announces loudly, ensuring the surrounding socialites hear every word. Amanda glides past in her Valentino gown, champagne in hand. Oh, Lisa, that dress is so quaint. A&M is really stepping up their game. She snaps a photo, no doubt for Instagram. Teaching is such a darling hobby, Margaret chimes in, adjusting her diamond necklace. Though surely it's time to consider a real career, the Parker name carries certain expectations. Stephen remains buried in his phone, pretending not to notice as I shift uncomfortably. The man I marry would never have allowed this. But that man is long gone. Hours later, my back aches, and my patience wears thin. In the restroom, I catch Amanda's Instagram story. When the help forgets their place, the photo shows me standing awkwardly by the table. From outside the door, voices drift in. She's becoming a liability, Robert growls. A kindergarten teacher? The board can barely contain their amusement, Margaret scoffs. Either she quits that ridiculous job or we ensure this marriage ends, Amanda adds gleefully. I already have the perfect replacement lined up. My hands tremble as I leave the restroom, my composure hanging by a thread. Pamela, Robert's assistant, intercepts me, pressing a folded note into my hand. The bathroom in the East Wing is quieter, she whispers, her tone deliberate. And Mrs. Parker, there are things you should know about this family. Things that might interest you. I wait until I'm alone to read the note. They did this to me too. I have proof of everything. Meet me at Riverside Coffee tomorrow, 8:00 a.m. Come alone. As the gala winds down, Robert raises his glass. To family, he declares, and upholding the Parker name. Stephen finally looks at me, really looks at me, for the first time all night. For a moment, I see a flicker of the man I married. But then Robert clears his throat and Stephen's eyes go cold again. "Ready to go home, babe?" he asks, already walking ahead. Home. The word tastes bitter now. As I follow him out, Pamela's note burns in my clutch like a promise. They think they've broken me. They think this is the end of the story. They have no idea. It's just the beginning. At 8 a.m. sharp, Riverside Coffee is quiet. Pamela sits in a corner booth, a thick manila envelope in front of her. "I was Robert's first victim," she says quietly. 10 years as his executive assistant, watching him destroy lives. I flipped through the documents inside. Property assessments, falsified safety reports, bank transfers, each page a smoking gun. Those affordable housing projects. He's evicting elderly residents, paying off inspectors, pocketing millions, Pamela explains. My hands tremble. Stephen handles the legal paperwork, she adds. My heart sinks. He knows exactly what he's doing. Later that week, Linda introduces me to her brother Marcus over lunch. He's an investigative journalist, she explains, been tracking the Parkers for months. Their charity foundation is a front, Marcus reveals, pulling out his laptop. Photos flash on the screen, empty buildings where they claim to run community programs. Amanda runs fake fundraisers. The money vanishes into offshore accounts, Marcus says grimly. At home, I play my part perfectly. Of course I'll attend the foundation meeting, I say sweetly, watching Margaret smile and nod. I record everything on a hidden device as Amanda brags during their weekly strategy sessions. Those idiots actually believe we're building a youth center, she laughs. Meanwhile, Daddy's demolishing their homes next month. I start visiting tenants. Mrs. Rodriguez, 72, shows me her caving ceiling. They ignore our calls, she says. My grandchildren can't breathe from the mold. Pamela helps connect me to former staff. One housekeeper, Maria, shares her story. Mrs. Parker blackmails society wives. Photos, addiction secrets. She uses them to climb the social ladder. Another woman confesses, hands trembling. She threatened to expose my daughter's rehab stay unless I handed her the country club presidency. Night after night, I document everything. Photos of building violations, recordings of Parker family meetings, screenshots of Amanda's drunk texts boasting about embezzlement. The foundation audit is next week. Stephen mentions casually over dinner. Dad needs you to sign some paperwork. I sign with a smile, then make copies. Every document shows systematic fraud. Stephen's signature is on everything. Pamela sends me more damning evidence. Security footage of Robert threatening tenants, Margaret's blackmail targets coming forward, Amanda's schemes unraveling. One more week, I tell Linda during recess. I need proof of the Highland Project demolition plans. That night, I overhear Stephen on the phone. Don't worry, Dad. The permits are backdated. No one will know about the asbestos. Lisa suspects nothing. I think about Tommy's grandmother living in Highland apartments, about Mrs. Rodriguez's grandchildren, about every life they've crushed beneath their designer shoes. My phone buzzes. Marcus texts, story breaks next week. You sure about this? I glance at Stephen sleeping soundly beside me, the man who let me stand for 6 hours, who helps his father destroy lives, who chose power over love. Another text from Pamela, final board meeting tomorrow. They're all signing the Highland demolition papers. I close my eyes and hear my mom's voice. Stand up for what's right. One person can make a difference. It's time, I text back. Release everything tomorrow. The Parker family's private jet is still on the tarmac when Marcus's expose detonates across every Boston news outlet. As they sip champagne, heading to Aspen, their empire crumbles beneath headlines like, Real estate mogul Robert Parker's empire built on suffering. Tenants hospitalized due to negligent conditions. Falsified safety reports and systematic exploitation uncovered. The words flash on every screen in the airport terminal where I sit, watching their plane disappear. My phone erupts with messages. Amanda, you backstabbing girl. Margaret, darling, there must be some misunderstanding. 5 years have passed since the Parker empire crumbled, and the echoes of justice continue to resonate. Pamela's message came like a victory bell. Housing Authority just froze all Parker properties. FBI is involved. Mrs. Rodriguez, once silenced by fear, became the voice of resilience at the press conference, standing tall as she declared. They poisoned our children with asbestos while hosting charity galas. The evidence was undeniable. Amanda's charity scam exposed millions funneled into offshore accounts. Robert's threats against tenants, caught on security footage, aired on every news channel. Margaret's blackmail victims stepped forward, dismantling her social reign. Stephen's disbarment hearing became a media spectacle. His plea, "I was following orders," was met with swift justice, permanent disbarment. "You ruined us," Stephen's final text read. I responded, "Finally, no, Stephen. You chose your family. I chose justice." Now the old Highland apartments are unrecognizable. My after-school program, Phoenix Rising, has transformed the space into a haven for children and families. Mrs. Rodriguez's granddaughter teaches art here, inspiring the next generation. Amanda cornered me outside a Target once, her designer bags replaced by a worn uniform. "Please," she begged. "Dad's declaring bankruptcy. Stephen can't even get hired as a paralegal." Mom's had 2 breakdowns. I remembered her mocking my H&M dress once. Karma's got expensive tastes, Amanda. Margaret tried ambushing me at a coffee shop. "We've learned our lesson, Lisa. The family's changed. Like you changed those safety reports, those charity records," I replied, walking away. Robert's last desperate move came through certified mail. A settlement offer on the same paper type he used for eviction notices. I shredded it. Today, I stand in our newest center, built on a land where the Parker Foundation's empty headquarters once stood. The garden blooms where Robert once envisioned luxury condos and Stephen signed fraudulent permits. "Miss Parker." Little Emma tugs my sleeve. "Can we plant more flowers in the garden?" "Of course, sweetie," I say, smiling. Beauty grows best in places where darkness used to live. Pamela now runs our tenant advocacy department. Marcus's Pulitzer sits beside a photo of our first graduating class. The children who once lived in fear now thrive, their laughter filling the halls where greed once cast its shadow. My phone buzzes. A Parker number. Another plea for reconciliation, another desperate attempt to rebuild their shattered reputation. I delete it. Some say revenge is best served cold. I say it's best served with justice, hope, and real change. They tried to break a kindergarten teacher. Instead, they taught me the most valuable lesson. Sometimes the smallest classroom sparks the biggest impact. And I'm still teaching, just not the lessons they expected. What would you do if you discovered your partner actively participating in schemes that destroyed innocent families? Would you expose them immediately or gather evidence methodically, like Lisa did? Share your thoughts in the comments below.